Hi, welcome to this class. Now, in this class, we'll be looking at how to manipulate the case of a text string in SQL. However, we would like to start from, just practicalizing what we want to do in Excel, and then we'll jump right into SQL. So, um, in Excel, to manipulate the text, we can manipulate text in different ways. Um, and like a few ways is to do the uppercase, where you have like all the text being in uppercase, or to have a lowercase, where you have all the text in lowercase, or then you have something that it's kind of like um, you have something where the first text is like upper then lower basically, so it's like, let's say, mixed case, right? So here, if we were to maybe manipulate this column, we would maybe put something like upper, and then put a C2, right? Right, and basically we can drag this down, right? So here you have all upper cases. So maybe we can even reduce this, right? So in similar fashion for lowercase, we also will say lower, right? So it's also similar case here where, but then, so you see the when we do the comparison, we could see that in the first case, we have an uppercase where like it changes everything to uppercase. And then in the second case, we have like, changing it to everything to a lowercase. Now, in the third case in particular, we will be using, maybe we could use this column in particular, because here we can see like it's already a mixed case where you have like the beginning of each word is capitalized. So if we were to do the mixed case, we wouldn't see any difference. But if we look at category, for instance, we see like there is this and. So here you can see that, for instance, these cases are not mixed. I mean, this part of the text is not mixed, whereas this and this is mixed. So maybe we could use this as our example. So the category could be our example. So in the case of mixed case, you basically have something where you say equal to proper, and then you have basically the two, right? So this is like that. Like you see, basically when you compare this and this, you can see that like here the and is now being capitalized in the middle, which is basically what we are going to do in SQL now. So we have this sample here. It's just a bit of like seeing how what we're trying to do in SQL, and then we will replicate it in SQL now. So now here is SQL. We have, this is BigQuery basically, BigQuery environment. If you, haven't registered for the free account, you could basically look at the link in the description of, how we registered for our free account. Now, basically, this is a data set in BigQuery, which is called full. It is under the Hacker News folder in the BigQuery public data set. Now, this data set basically has like a couple of interesting features, and it seems like there is some kind of, text, and then it basically comes and says who basically maybe was published by, and then you have the timestamp and all that, right? Now, to query this data set, you could just basically come and then basically click the query button. So here we have, we just want to manipulate the data set, the text field. And first we want to see like if we were going to do the the upper, lower, and then the mixed. So the funny part of Excel and SQL is they actually use similar functions. So we have like the upper function, which is the same as in Excel. So you have upper. So this is like the upper. So here we might just name it the upper text. And then you have lower, which is basically the lowercase in this case. And then we could say the lower text, right? And then you have the mixed. So in this case, it's slightly different in the name. And then here we call it INITCAP. So it's basically initial capitalization, which means that it capitalizes every first letter of every word. And so you have like, and then here you have lower text, right? I mean, we could even say uppercase, lowercase, and then initial case, right? So let's just call it like that: uppercase, lowercase, and then initial case. So when we run this data set now, okay, I have a little mistake here. So when we run this, I mean, maybe for readability's sake, we could also make it like, a bit beautiful like this, right? And just see. So when we run this query now, when we run it, then we get, different type of text. So first, I think query is quite big now, so, but basically we could just bring it all out like this. So when we run this text, we could see that like in the first case, the uppercase, we see every word is in uppercase. Every single word is in uppercase. Every letter as well is in uppercase. So when we get to the lowercase, we see like every single letter is in the lowercase. Every single letter is in the lowercase. And then when we get to the initial case, we see that the beginning of every single word is in uppercase, and then the rest is a lowercase. I mean, we could also maybe use a different column, because I mean this particular column was kind of you know having a lot of words. So basically, we could use the by and then just change the part of the select, which just says okay. So basically, this is, yeah, it's a very funny thing that we noticed that when we try to use the by, it doesn't want to work, and it's showing that it expects some kind of error. Now, from the color coding, when we use a function, I mean, basically when we use a function, we notice that the function is colored blue, and our text is colored black. Now what is happening is, because by is actually a function in SQL, like in the case where you use like group by and order by, and so here you see that it basically just flags the by. And then how do you get over this kind of situation? Then basically you could basically like implement an alias to the table. So you rename the table and say as maybe full, for instance. Now you have named this table. Now, I mean, I wouldn't want to use full as well, because it's also another function. So let's say as hacker news, right? So um so basically then you can take this function, and then you can put this, and then you put a dot to the side. So immediately SQL will understand that what you're trying to do is, you're not trying to use the by, which is a function, but the by that is in the table, right? So because then you just basically tell it that this is this table is called the hacker news, and then you're pointing to the by. And so here we could just go ahead and then run our query and see who published each, and in different ways. So here, I mean, we can see that the initial table had like, just all small letters. And so here in the uppercase, you see everything is coming back as uppercase. And in the lowercase, yeah, I mean, some of them are just basically in a lowercase, but maybe in this case, for example, if we were to maybe see this case, for example, so you see like in this case, for example, it's like angle Stura is having the first letter, which is the which is a capital, and then here it's basically all lowercase. And then in the last case, you have like the initial case where the first letter is a capital, and then the rest is a lower case. So this is the idea of this, and I mean it's very yeah, it's could be very useful. You could even use this to I mean, also in some cases when you want to join two tables, sometimes the case of the two tables are different. So at times we also use this lower case to basically ensure that we are joining in the right way. So because then you're trying to match the words, and then it's very important to be, flexible, be creative with the upper and lower and initial cap as the use case might be required. So this is all that we will touch in this class. See you in the next one. Thank you.